If you're one of those people that have been finding out that you are getting nervous, closer to an interview, or you feel nervous during an interview, then this video is by all means for you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
One of the questions that keep coming up in my coaching section is how not to be nervous in interviews, especially now that we're in lockdown and a lot of people are getting their interviews done remotely. So interviews are being conducted via Zoom and Skype. So, and a lot of people have been saying that they've been nervous. I would have thought it was the other way around. So I would have thought a time when you can shine, you're in the comfort of your own home, you're not going somewhere or being somewhere strange or somewhere new. So as a career coach, one of the things I do with my clients is making sure they are prepared for interviews. And what do I mean by that? I actually prepare your CV, or I revamp the one you already have, and make sure your profile and your personal statements gets you to be seen first of all, and I make sure you ace your interview when you get there. So there's no two ways. There's never a person that I have coached that have not come back with good feedback. If you come back with a feedback that is not great, then it's not about you, it's about the company or it's about the organization, but it's never about you, your CV, or your confidence. So if you need any of my services, I'll leave my details below, so you can always reach me, email me, and then we can start to work together and land you that your dream job. Normal thing that when you're meeting someone, sometimes you don't know what to expect, and you don't know how the person is going to view you, or the person is even going to value what you have to say. So going somewhere where you're going to be judged by how you look, but how you stand, how you dress, how you talk, so obviously you would be nervous. It's a normal and natural thing. People who tell you they're not nervous, it's not that they're not nervous, it's that they've learned how to deal with that. They've learned how not to make their nervousness show. They've learned how to be in front of strangers and just not care about how they are being perceived. And that is what I want to teach you today. I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on how to be nervous before or during an interview. Point is, make yourself comfortable in the space where you're going to be having your interview, and I would suggest a day before you sit down in that space. So if it was your study or in your library or somewhere just against the wall, in your kitchen, wherever you know that you'll be having that interview, sit down there. What I used to do is I would sit down there and I would speak to myself as if someone is asking me the question and I'm answering back, just to make myself comfortable around that area. And it's the same thing you would go into the interview you're waiting in the waiting room, you sit down, you breathe, you make yourself acquainted to the environment, and don't get lost in your own mind and thoughts about, oh, who's coming, oh, don't think about all those things. Just breathe and just relax and wait for the interviewer to come and get you into the room. And normal thing they will do is sit down, do you want a drink? So use that time to get yourself relaxed in the environment. So don't think too much about things, because once you start doing that, then you start to forget everything, you start to feel nervous, you start to worry about things. So so is to get yourself comfortable around where you know that interview will be taking place. And take of this video, which is nervous when you're having your interview remotely, is that it's in your home, that is quiet, that you know that you will sit down and you're comfortable with, which is an advantage, to be honest with you, because I see it as an advantage. If I have to be interviewed at home, it means I find the most comfortable place for me. I sit down, I talk to myself and hear myself sound and make sure that I'm prepared. And with that way, not be as nervous, or you will not even be nervous for your interview. So that is, prepare your responses and your story beforehand. So this is one of the places where I see people, and even my clients, when I'm coaching them, this is where I see them lacking. So I get it, it's your job, I get it, you know your stuff, I get it, I mean, you are experienced, I get that. But if you don't prepare, it's just like if I wanted to come and do this video, I know all these tips. I know, if you wake me up and ask me the question, I'll probably tell you. But if I don't prepare, I'll probably ramble a little bit, or get it the way I want it to come out in this video. So that being said, what I'm trying to say, the sort of questions that they might probably ask. So prepare your stories and your responses. Like if it was a project manager's interview, probably be asking you about, tell me one time where you had difficult clients and you had to manage their expectations. So map story beforehand and say it to yourself. If you're HR position, or even a junior HR position, they'll probably be asking you, tell me one time where you had a difficult case, or when you went to tribunal, what was the situation and what did you do, on things like that. You have to have your story prepared so that when you get to that point and they're asking you that question, you won't be like, let me think. No, you just want to say, yes, there was this one time, this happened, this was the situation, this was what I did, and this was the result and what you learned from it. So you want to have your responses and your stories and everything prepared before your interview. Move on to if that is an area where you're getting your answers prepared or getting your story prepared, then you need to come on one of my coaching sessions, and I would be happy to, and never state and move you to a point where you can prepare your stories, have your answers ready, prepare, because that is exactly what makes people nervous, is the fact that you're not very prepared and you're not sure, what questions they will ask and how you would answer. So if you get all the questions that you feel that, might come up, so the common questions that might come up in interviews, and get the answers ready, then you will see that, you're really like reduce or even disappear. So now 3 is practice. I mean, it's almost the same. Well, I won't say the same, but it's all, I said prepare, and so it takes you into practicing. Just for the same thing with interview. You've been in the job, you've been doing it, you know the job, we get it, you know the job. But if you don't practice the answers that come with the questions that are being asked, then obviously you would fumble. Package, I would share with you different sort of questions that will be asked, possibly questions that could be asked in an interview, answers to go with them. We would practice them together. You have to keep practicing, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you don't practice these things, you probably come up you want to sound in an interview. You won't come across the way you want to. And the more you practice, the more it becomes like a second nature. And then when your interviewer calls you, or when you're in front of the invitation, like a friendly conversation talking about what you do, and that is because you have actually practiced. But if you haven't practiced, then you'll be thinking, and let me think, no, we don't want that, right? We don't want that. And first tip is to get yourself comfortable around the place where you're going to be having your interview. You want to make sure to prepare your stories and your responses for your interview. Is also linked to the second one, so it's practice. So what this means is, you've written your answers, you've written your stories, you know what you want to say, then you need to say them over and over again and hear yourself say them. So the difference between the first and the second and third one is that you have prepared them, you know them, they are your stories, so obviously you know them, but is hearing you say them. So and everything I'm giving to you right now are things that I have tried for myself, I have tried for my clients, I have tried with my friends, and it has worked. And what works for me and what could record myself actually answering these questions and play it back. When I play it back, I hear myself. Sometimes I hear myself and I'm like, but Doris, you know these things, why were you rambling? Or why were you giving too much information? Because I have gone away from what I'm meant to be saying into something else. I've gone out of the point, and I'm now, just rambling and saying different things. And that is because I haven't practiced them. So because I have heard myself and I have recognized and identified that, I shouldn't be doing that, I will make that conscious effort not to. And it always happens to work as well, because you know your job, so you want to actually say everything in your head at once, but that would not get you far, because that would be being nervous and you can't control the things that are coming out of your mouth. So you want to practice shift your energy manager and not yourself. And one of the things that make people nervous is that they are focusing on themselves, and by focusing on yourself you are judging yourself. So this is a situation where you are and you're focusing on yourself. You're focusing on yourself, your answers, like, am I delivering, am I what's going to be the next question. This energy that you are having and you are thinking about during that interview is actually showing, is portraying, and the hiring managers can sense it, they can feel it, and they are seeing it. So, and you don't want to nervous, and you might feel like you don't know what you're doing, that's why you're acting that way. So the best way situation or in your interview is to focus on the hiring manager. So think about it as if you're trying to throw, you're in a tennis court and you're trying to throw a ball. You want it to land in the other place. You want them to catch, you want the opponent to catch the ball and receive it. And that's how you want your answers to come across. That's how you want the interview to come across. You want to be able to say whatever you want to say, let it land on the interviewer's hands, let it land, let them receive it, so, oh wow, yes, oh yeah, yeah, this is what I want to hear, not throwing it and it going all over the place because they can't figure you out, they can't figure out what you're saying or what you're thinking or what you are doing because you're all over the place. So by focusing on them, you can see their reaction, you're waiting for the question, and then you're giving them back an answer. Clear your mind from thoughts about you. It's not, just stop focusing on yourself at that point. I know you love yourself, I know you want to think about yourself a lot, but that is not the time, my darling. That is not the time to start thinking about yourself and thinking about, and judging yourself and wondering if you've said the right thing or wondering if you've not said the right thing. At that point, you want to just focus on what the interviewer is saying. Right. Assumption that this interview is being done remotely. So, they're watching the script interviewed remotely because you are not in front of someone. So you can't show them your true personality. That's why whatever you're saying needs to be landing properly, needs to be heard properly by your interview place. And the final tip is to dress the part. I put this last because obviously, it's not always good for the gander sometimes. But just what you want to be, you don't want to come. I can wear, my pajamas, or I'm at home, I can just wear a 90 dress, or I'm at home, I'll just wear whatever I want. No, you want to dress as if you're actually going to the company for an interview. So make sure you dress smart. Some people will say dress, make sure part is covered, but I would say dress fully, because the way you dress is how you feel. So if you are dressed properly, you feel confident, you feel good in yourself, then you will come across as good. So if you're confident in how you're looking, you're confident with how you're sounding, you're confident with what you're wearing is, if I have an interview, or I would, maybe for the past couple of years, I probably have sessions, or, I'm going for an interview, or I'm going to meet a client to put a proposal in front of them, or whatever I'm doing, I like to, check them out on Google. Google is your friend. Check them on Google and Glassdoor. So Glassdoor does we can read the reviews about an organization. You can even click on photos and you will see photos that people have posted on Glassdoor or online about that organization. So you will see what they wear, you will see how they are, and you can check on LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn. So just go on LinkedIn and check, whoever is interviewing you, see what they like, see how they, is you need to be wearing. Are they all chilled? Are they all suit and tie kind of people? Are they? So that will determine what you would wear, and just be comfortable in whatever you're wearing outfit, because when you feel good in your outfit, you can deliver confidently during that interview. So I hope these 5 tips that I have given you would prepare you for your remote interviews going forward. And if you do want to speak to me, or you want help in helping you out in anything to do with your career, from CV writing to prepare you for interviews, I am your go-to person. Check out our page, check out our website. We've got great feedbacks. We're everywhere. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, And yes, I'll be happy to help you. So I hope after watching this video you will start to practice everything that I have said, and you would lose that nervousness, and you come back with your success story. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to this channel, and then put a comment, like this video, and yes, and watch out for my next one. Thanks, bye.